Hello everybody, welcome back to Guides with Finch. My name is Finch, and this is a guide on Lina. The guide's title is called Lina, Now She Is Hot. Lina's hot in many ways. She actually throws fire, and she's not too bad looking. So let's just dive right in about Lina. I think Lina is one of the more underrated support, kind of damage-dealing magic users, I guess, in all of Dota. A lot of people kind of forget on how good she actually is, and then with this past couple of patches, she's gotten even better because now her range is even longer and longer, and she has one of the longest attack ranges in the game. You know, obviously Sniper is someone that's going to have one further, but as far as like other spellcasters and stuff go, Lina is one of the furthest auto attack users for that, and then also kind of jives really well with her spells. And it's kind of taking her away from just being a person that you set up stuns with, you know, Sand King or something else, to be more of a damage dealing kind of nuke type hero, which is absolutely super fun to play. So right away for this guide, you can play her in different roles. This guide's kind of more tuned to playing middle, just because of the bottle pickup. So if you're mid, you can kind of grab the runes. With her range increase, like I said, you can mid pretty efficiently against all types of heroes. She also is a very good support, so if you want to stick her in a lane with somebody else, that is totally fine. She works great there. The only thing is if you do that, I highly recommend trying to pair it with another stun. So get someone who has a very easy to land stun, someone like Sand King, maybe Shadow Demon, whoever it may be, someone who can easily stun, and then you're going to follow up with your own stun. And by doing that, you pretty much guarantee you're going to hit your Light Strike array every single time. Once you get good at it, the range is pretty big, you can hit it, but why bother trying to line it up and be perfect if you can get Sand King or someone like that to just get in there, stun them, line it up perfectly, you can stun. It's just a really good way to kind of support and, you know, pick up kills early on, and you can put her in a tri-lane. If you do like an offensive tri-lane, she's fine there for, you know, setting up stuns. She's a very versatile hero. She can be pretty much everywhere. Except the off lane, except the jungle, so any kind of like, you know, supporty role with the carry as well as middle. Starting items for Lina. For this guide, we're using Tango, Salve, Clarity, Mantle of Intelligence, 2 Iron Branches. These are very interchangeable. You can kind of do whatever you know fits with you. Personally, I like the Mantle of Intelligence just because, like I said in the puck guide, a little bit more last-hitting ability is really nice. You're not building a Null Talisman with Lina. You can, but there's kind of no need for it. I like the ability to, you know, try to get those last hits, get the other items earlier, and then obviously the Tango and the Salve are just for, you know, when you're running out of health and you need to regain your health. And then the Clarity. Now this is kind of where the versatility comes in. You can either skip the branches and grab maybe 2 or 3 Clarities if you anticipate spamming a lot of your abilities and doing a lot of damage. You can even skip the Clarity, and you can go 3 Iron Branches, because you're going to be building this magic wand later on, if you feel that you're not going to be spamming your abilities and you don't really need the Clarity. The reason I put the Clarity in here is just because of the way Lina's skills work. You're going to be using them quite a bit, and they're pretty cheap in mana. So early on in the game, if you are against someone who might have higher attack damage than you, and you might be having a hard time getting last hits, or you're getting pushed out of lane, you're going to want to use your Q, which is Dragon Slave, I think it is. Yeah, Dragon Slave. I was right. Just want to make sure I'm right. You're going to be using that to kind of get last hits, to kind of harass them back, push them back, especially if they're a low health hero. You can very easily use that ability to push them out of lane. And so I like with the Clarity, you're going to be so far away with your attack range. You can use 2 or 3 of those. You can pop the Clarity, and by the time, you know, you need to go use it again, you have enough mana to set up your abilities, your stun, and things like that. Then you'll have the bottle, which once you have the bottle, then you're kind of home free and you're set, and you can begin, you know, spamming your abilities and using all sorts of stuff. Personal preference, once again, just kind of think about the matchup you're going in. If you're going middle and you're going against someone who, you know, maybe say you're going against Invoker, and you know, okay, well, even if I do damage Invoker, it's probably not going to do much because he has Quas and it's going to regenerate his health. So maybe skip the Clarity and just get Iron Branches, and then try to compete for last hits that way. If you're going against someone, say, I don't know, Pudge, who you know you're going to be easily able to attack and do a lot of damage on, then maybe grab the Clarity, because if he comes in for a last hit, you can stun him, you can throw out a Dragon Slave, and it forces him to move back and get out of lane. Core items, or, you know, we'll do early game items because we don't go to order. Early game items, bottle. And bottle is for if you're mid. If you're not mid, don't get the bottle because you're not going to be able to refill it. I like the bottle a lot on Lina because you are using your abilities a lot of the time, and you're very mana dependent. And there's nothing worse than going to go pick up a kill or only have, barely any health left on the enemy and then be out of mana. So the bottle is really nice because it gives you that ability to have that sustainability to where you can move around the map and go lanes and all that kind of stuff. Because once you hit level 6, you are a killing machine. You're going to be attacking and moving around the map and doing all sorts of damage just because of how much damage her ultimate does, which is Laguna Blade. So as soon as you hit 6, you're going to be moving around a lot. If you can grab runes, great, even better. You can save them until you need them. It also gives you mana, so that's why bottles are good. If you're supporting, then I'd suggest maybe shying away from the bottle and just save up for your arcane boots, because that's going to help your buddies. You can focus on buying hordes and things like that. Next one is going to be your boots. Once again, they're out of order, but boots you're going to pick up as soon as you can, probably after the bottle if you're mid. Magic Wand is also a very good pickup on Lina. Like I said, she's just mana dependent. You already got these 2 iron branches. Just go ahead and finish off the Magic Wand. Now, core items on Lina. Now, this is where it gets tricky, and this is where Lina is both really amazing and also not so easy to kind of understand. With her skill set, she's very versatile in the sense of she can be a support because she has a good stun with Light Strike Array. She could also be kind of a nuker because she puts out a lot of damage with Dragon Slave and Laguna Blade, but she also is kind of an auto attacker with Fiery Soul. And so you need to look at these abilities and look at your team and your enemies and figure out what items are going to benefit my teammates the most. If you are going middle, then this is probably the build that I would suggest going. You're going to be grabbing the Arcane Boots first, and then you're going to be grabbing the Blink Dagger right after, because you're moving around the map, you're picking up kills. Whenever Laguna Blade is up, you're hunting somebody to kill them. Any moment or any minute that ability is up, off cooldown, and you're not using it, is wasted time, because the longer the game goes, the least useful that's going to be. As soon as you hit 6, if you go gank and there's a sniper or something like that in a bottom or top lane at level, say level 4, level 5, you can Laguna Blade and Light Strike Array, and he's pretty much going to be dead. That is a free kill. You need to utilize that and take that kill and that momentum to your advantage. So I really like Blink Dagger. Just do the mobility, chasing people down, getting in position to set up your Light Strike Array, setting up Laguna Blade, whatever it may be. It's just a really good, versatile item that you really, really need to have. Arcane Boots, self-explanatory. You need mana. Grab mana. So you're going to grab your Arcane Boots first and then grab the Blink Dagger after that. Now, situational items is kind of what I was talking about, the situations. You need to kind of assess the situation at hand and how you can use them efficiently. If you do go the Blink Dagger first, any of these works totally fine. If you skip the Blink Dagger, then look at, kind of why you're building them. The first one, we'll just go in order. The first one's going to be Yules. Yules is a fantastic item for Lina just because it gives you movement speed to catch up to people, to set up more Light Strike Arrays, to get off Laguna Blade, whatever it may be. Gives you damage, gives you move speed, gives you ability to save yourself or set up a stun on somebody else. It's just a really, really good item. Scythe of Ice, once again, Sheepstick, great item, gives you damage, gives you lockdown, great. Force Staff, positioning, mobility, gives you a little bit of health regeneration, gives you a little bit more damage, all of which are really, really good things. With these 3, the way you're going to be looking at these is if you do go Blink Dagger, you're going to be looking at the Force Staff and say, do I need more mobility or am I okay? If you feel like you're okay, then skip it. Go ahead and build maybe the Yules or the Scythe. If you feel that you really need it or your teammates need it to get away from someone like Lifestealer who's going to be up in front on people, then grab a Force Staff, because then you can blink away to safety. You can use Force Staff on an ally. It's just very versatile and very good. The difference between Yules and Scythe of Ice, Yules is half the cost. So if you feel that you are not going to be able to farm up that Scythe of Ice, but they have someone like Faceless Void who's going to be doing a ton of damage and you really just need to remove him from the fight for a little bit, then go ahead, grab a Yules. He jumps in, you just throw him up in the air, your teammates can spread out, whatever it may be. It just gives you a cheaper way to lock somebody down, and also it lets you set up your stuns and your kills. So you can throw them up in the air, you can set up the Light Strike Array so when they land, they get stunned, and it works really well with Lina's skill set. Preferably, I would go Blink and I would go Yules right after, and then I'd go Scythe of Ice after that. I feel like the Yules gives me more ability to pick up kills and momentum and kind of team fighting ability and all that kind of good stuff. Scythe of Ice will be after that. So it's kind of up to you on where where your mindset is and where you're going. Supporty type items is going to be Mechanism, Drones of Endurance, and Orchid. Mechanism is nobody else on your team's building mech, then you should do it. If you're playing more of a support role, supporting a carry in a lane, Mechanism is a great choice. It's cheap. It helps your team win fights. Might as well do it. Same thing with Drums of Endurance. It helps your teammates. You can use the health. You can use the mana. So if you feel that you've been kind of in a supporting type role, grab this. And so I would recommend, if you're going mechanism or drums, or even both, skip the blink dagger. Just grab your arcane boots, grab wards, grab mechanism, grab drums, and then you're set. You're a very hard support type hero who you're going to be mostly focusing on supporting your teammates and setting up stuns and adding additional damage when you can. Orchid is going to be when you are against a pesky spellcaster, so say like Invoker, someone like Queen of Pain, someone who you just don't want them to be using their abilities. Build the Orchid, it really helps. Now that we get into the weird area now where this is kind of carry Lina, this is where you're more focused on doing damage and being kind of a nuker assassinator type thing, where you're jumping in there, you're going to do a whole bunch of damage, and you're going to kind of punish people. So Aghanim Scepter just gives you a whole bunch more damage on Laguna Blade. It's kind of a super powerful Dagon in a way. You're just going to pick who you're going to kill, and you just target them and you kill them. Now, with this, you're going to be wanting, obviously, to have a good target in mind. So, like someone maybe like Sniper, who's putting out a lot of damage and standing in the very back, you grab the blink dagger, you blink forward, you just Aghanims them, and then they're going to die. Aghanims them, but Laguna Blade with your Aghanim Scepter, so Laguna Blade's going to do even more damage. This is just a good way to just lock down those really low health heroes who are really annoying. Someone like Fam Assassin, maybe she doesn't have her BKB yet, you can just stun her Laguna Blade and she's going to die. It just gives you that momentum, but you need to assess the situation and go, okay, there's a low health hero on that team that I need to get rid of really fast. Okay, Aghanim Scepter is your choice because you can remove them very quickly. The next one's going to be Bloodstone. I don't like Bloodstone. I'm not a fan of Bloodstone. That's why it's kind of so far down this item list. Some people like it. It's just such a snowbally item that you need to really maintain the momentum of just getting kills. If you have a really good early game start, then go Bloodstone because it is going to help you throughout the game. It's going to give you even more momentum, but I'm just not a major fan of it. One thing to note, if you do get Bloodstone, you can disassemble the Arcanes and then buy that a little bit quicker. But I would shy away from the Bloodstone unless you really feel that I got 10 kills in 15 minutes, I can get a Bloodstone and just kind of keep rolling this game. Then sure, go ahead. I think your money's better spent elsewhere, but that's just me. And the last one is actually a really fun way to play Lina, and that's going Maelstrom Mjolnir. And this is for the damage dealing, kind of get in there, do a whole bunch of damage, auto attack Lina. It sounds weird, but it's actually surprisingly really, really good, especially with Lina's Fiery Soul. If you go, get Arcane Boots and then go Maelstrom, and then you can go Blink Dagger and then finish off the Mjolnir, then that is something that you could do to put out a ton of damage for your team and just really kind of punish people, because Lina with that fast attack speed and you have the lightning bouncing around, it's actually really, really good, and it's a fun way to play Lina. So sometimes if you do have a good start as Lina, I would say go Blink Dagger and Arcanes as normal, and then maybe grab a Maelstrom, and then maybe go Aghanims, and then finish the Mjolnir, or just finish the Mjolnir, whatever, it's up to you. But that way of playing Lina is actually really fun, and you put out a lot of damage. And so if you're the enemy team, say, they get a BKB on their carry, you're not useless now. And now you can use your stun or something like that on a support, but then once the Fiery Soul triggers, you can just auto-attack their carry down. You're putting out a lot of damage. You can even pair this with something such as a Chrysalis or even a Daedalus, and then you get that crit attack. You can also stick like an MKB in there to do more damage. You can kind of see what you need to do. I just left it blank for now because more often than not, you're going to grab the Maelstrom and the Mjolnir, and then you're going to probably go Aghanims after that. And then if you still have enough money left over, you're going to go Sheep. I think that these ones are the ones that are worth getting. When you start going down the path of buying too much damage items, there's still that chance of just you'll die, and then you might have to grab a BKB, and it gets like a sticky situation where there's just too many choices. So I kind of wanted to keep it set on these ones where you figure out if you're going to be kind of a supporty, you got the middle row. If you're going to be more of a typical mobility lockdown type hero, the top row, and then if you're going to be kind of a damage dealer, you got the bottom row. Abilities, we're going to start with Light Strike Array first. Level 2 is going to be Dragon Slave. You're going to max that as soon as possible, and then you're going to max out Light Strike Array. After that, you can get your usual times, 6, 11, and 16, and then the Fiery Soul is going to be last. It's a pretty standard skill build for Lina. You want to get the Light Strike Array first because you can set up stuns, especially if your team is going to hunt for first blood. It's really useful. The Dragon Slave is just more of a damage type thing. The nice thing when you're in lane, like I talked about earlier, kind of forcing the enemy back, once you get to level 3 with Dragon Slave, you're going to be doing a lot of damage. It does 170 damage, and it's an 8.5 second cooldown. You can see over here if I mouse over it. and the range is absolutely massive. And so you can just stand in the back, you can throw it out. A lot of times what I'll try to do is whoever I'm laning against, say it's like a Templar assassin, I'm just going to throw the Dragon Slave right at them, and I'm going to get 2 or 3 creep kills on the way and get that gold. But then it's also going to do almost 200 damage at level 3, which if you're laying against someone who's a low health hero, 200 damage at level 3 is a lot of damage because the cooldown is only 8.5 seconds. So within the next 10 seconds, you just throw another one, and you get your bottle, and you fill up, and you throw another one. You can keep doing that, and you can really kind of punish the lane. And sure, you're going to be pushing the lane forward, but when you do that, make sure you push it forward at, 3 minutes 45 seconds, and then grab the 4-minute rune, or 5 minutes and 45 seconds and grab the 6-minute rune. Just definitely kind of use that aggression and that damage outburst that you have in the early game to your benefit. Then Light Strike Array, you want to set it up and stun. You'll get the hang of how to set it up. You want to look for paths where people are going. If they're going in kind of choke points, if you know they're going towards a rune, then you want to set it up and try to plan accordingly. The same thing with that. This cooldown is only 7 seconds. It's quick. It's a lot of damage. If you can stun, you can Light Strike Array, get a couple auto attacks. You can stun them again, finish them off. And then you couple that with Laguna Blade. The very, very large radius that it does, the range is really large. It does a lot of damage. Like I said, pick it up as soon as you can at 6, and then just go pick up kills. Now, Fiery Soul is an interesting ability. This is if you're doing a lot of damage. You're going to be picking it up anyways because it is useful because it gives you attack speed and movement speed, which is fantastic. So if you feel like you're getting attacked a ton early on, then go ahead maybe and skip this level 4 point in Light Strike Array and get it in Fiery Soul. Then you can have a little bit more move speed to escape and move around. More often than not, I prefer the damage outburst because I'm just ganking a lot. I'm getting a Blink Dagger, and I'm going blinking in, Light Strike Array, Dragon Slave, Laguna Blade, and then I'm going back, filling up my bottle, going right back out and killing somebody else. That is the way I like to play Lina, so I kind of prefer that damage because just the more damage, the better. But the Fiery Soul, if you're going damage items, say you're going Maelstrom, it's really, really important. It does a lot of damage. You can get that earlier and synergize with your build. And also a really fun build to do with Lina that is not included in this guide, but it's kind of worth mentioning, is maxing Fiery Soul first over the rest of your abilities. So you go level 1 Light Strike Array, and then go Fiery Soul and Dragon Slave, and just leave 1 point in the stun. Now, the only time you're going to want to do this is if you're laning against somebody, maybe like Pudge, maybe like Sand King, maybe like any other mid hero, Brewmaster, heroes that are melee and they're going to be mid, and you're laning against you, and you're going to be putting out a ton of damage because all you have to do is when they walk up to get a last hit on a creep, you stun them, and then you just auto attack 4 or 5 times with that quick attack speed, and they're going to have to pull back because that's a lot of damage. Now, this is sometimes works really well because you can kind of punish them, get them out of lane. Then on the same time, maybe if it doesn't work, or if you're getting caught out a lot, you're not going to have your bursty damagey abilities, your support abilities. So it's not going to, it's a trade-off. You have to figure out what you want to do. And also the nice thing with that build is you're not using mana as much, and so you're just really stunning once and Dragon Slave once to get the Fiery Soul up, and then you're just auto-attacking. So you can kind of stay in lane and farm rather than trying to get a bottle, gank, pick up kills, having to constantly be moving and things like that. But I would highly recommend just sticking with this build until you get comfortable with Lina, and then you can kind of tweak it and try different items and skills and things like that. As far as like Lina tricks, the only one I could think of that is worth mentioning is the Yule Scepter. I kind of mentioned it earlier, but you can throw them up in the air. You just know that's a 2.5 second time in the tornado. The Light Strike Array does have a little bit of a cast time between the time you cast and the time it's stunned, so you just throw them up, count 1, 2, and then cast the stun, and then when they land, you're going to stun, and then that's going to be a free stun. You can follow it up with the other abilities. Just definitely use that to your advantage when you can, or even use other stuns of other people, all that kind of good stuff. But that is that on Lina. I hope you guys enjoy. Like usual, I will put a link to this in the comments, and you guys can subscribe through that, and then you can come check it out in game. If you have any comments or feedback or questions on the guide, then go ahead and let me know. I'm always trying to change the skills and abilities and items, things like that, and tweak them to what works the best for the most amount of people. Until then, I will see you guys next time, and you can hit me up on Twitter if you need anything. It's at IndieFinch. It's at IndieFinch. I'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. Until then, you guys take care, and I will see you next time on Guides with Finch.
I'm the man in Dota 2, we can take it to the scrimmage, and you know that I'll be winning, just give it 30 minutes, yanking in the lane, hey yo, he's in that gross, I see him trying to kite, yeah, let's see just how far that goes, I carry in the scoreboard, he's carried in the hearse, yeah, tier 2 getting murked, demolished what's in my way from the start to